Well, hello guys. How are you? Hope everyone is doing good. Hey, we already cover, as you know, we covered a little bit in previous video about, you know, wholesaling, what is wholesaling of the homes, um, and what do you need to know the basic stuff, to get into the wholesaling. Okay. So let's actually cover, also talk about, benefits and risks that involves wholesaling. Okay. As like with any investment venture, okay, we know that, all right. With any investment venture, wholesaling can be profitable, okay, but certainly not without risks it involved. Okay, so you have to pay attention that yes, there are pros and cons to get into wholesaling. Okay, so let's talk uh, about pros, the positive aspects at this time. What involves wholesaling? Well, the benefits of getting into wholesaling is a good option for anyone who wants to start in real estate investing, right? We covered that in the previous video, and if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch all the investors series. We do have a different series on it, so watch on the investor series, okay? Where I cover all, the basic fundamentals and introduction to what is wholesaling the property. Okay. So the benefit of wholesaling is good investor option is because there's a few reasons on this. Okay. As far as the investment options, the risk is lower with wholesaling. Okay. For your investment options. You ask why, Ruby? You just told us that yes, there are pros and cons and risk involved. So here we are actually talking about, excuse me, the positive aspect of wholesaling or pros of wholesaling. Okay, it serves as an experiential learning opportunity to help you understand how finding, how evaluating, how buying, and how selling properties works. So this is just like a, how you say, kindergarten, you're just starting at the first grade. You are just getting your feet wet. Okay, so you're new to it. So furthermore, you can do this, for, if you're we're talking about if you're starting just as a beginner, you can do this as a side job. Okay, you can learn how transactions work. You figure out systems to decide on the deal you need to put together for wholesaling work, and keep track of all your related information and document, make sure. Okay, um and your market, the plan to set up to do the wholesaling, you know make sure, as I said, that document. Okay, um you don't need to put up much of your own money, right? The reason is, as we discussed this in previous videos, as I said, that if you haven't watched those videos yet, Please go back and watch those. So when you assign the contract, right, we covered that all that in previous video, as I said, so that will explain you everything of the basic and starting. Okay, so go back and watch the wholesaling video. So if you assign the contract, you are selling the contract to the buyer, not the property itself. Okay, it's the situation I discussed it earlier, as I said in previous videos. So remember we talked about that, the B2C transaction, right? And to pay for the A to B contract. Okay, so and unlike in flipping, you really don't need to do anything to fix up the property. Okay, for wholesaling part up. We're talking about wholesaling right now. At most, you'll put down an earnest money deposit. Uh, Remember, we also talk about EMD. That's actually, I think I talked about earnest money deposit in my buyer series. So you might have to go back if you're looking to learn, how to buy these properties. So we do need to put the EMD to open the escrow with the escrow company or title company or your attorney. Okay. Um, so the double closing, it require a little more money because you'll actually be closing on the first property, but don't forget, you can get the money from, variety of places like banks. Remember we covered all this in the previous videos. Um, so banks, different lenders, different private investors, hard money lenders, all that we covered that in the previous videos. So it doesn't have to come out, that, okay, if you don't have money, what should you do, right? Um, you can make, this one is like, even it's a beginner, but it's like a quick sale, okay? Of all the real estate investment option, wholesaling will help you to turn a profit the fastest overall, all right? But again, we cannot put so much, not enough um, pressure. Well, I'm trying to say that to you guys over and over and over. Please document, please talk to your CPA, please talk to your attorney before you getting any of this, okay? Because there are, as I said, good people and there are bad people also, okay? So you have to, sometime, all the good-hearted people, we think everybody is good out there, right? But we all know that around the world, that's not the case. You live and learn, right? So, so make sure you document, as I said, number one. Number two, you talk to your attorney, your CPA, your uh, accountant, someone that this is what you planning to do and do, and so that way you have the backup and you document. Okay, so usually if you are planning to do this, you can, as I said, that this is like, if you're not planning to keep the property for renting, for yourself or anything like that, um, this is like a just faster transaction overall. Okay, usually sometime it's 3 to 6 months. For residential properties, although some transaction can happen faster than that. Okay, so of course things could take a little longer in the beginning, but as you solidify your process, you learn for finding and evaluating these deals, and you marketing them, you understanding them, you know the pros and cons, you're working with other investors, and you know all the, like, not all, um, but you know some ins and outs of these type of transactions, the process, uh, how much process it take, how much speed it will take. Okay, so you can get into wholesaling if you do have a bad credit. Okay, we did cover on the credit scores and financing also in the previous videos to learn about how much credit score you need to have a, you know good financing, in order to buy these properties. So make sure you watch those videos, guys. Okay, this is for your own benefits. So since you don't need to obtain any, like, if you don't need bank financing, you don't need from a lender, from your credit union, um, these credit scores doesn't matter as much. They do matter, but it doesn't matter because you are not borrowing the money from your banks. Okay, so it does not matter that much. So that said, your score does still matter to a degree, in that you won't have as many exit strategies, options to close on the property. Okay, because of course when you have a credit and you're working with the lender, it's better to, other exit strategies for, to close that property, but if it necessary. Okay, but when you are selling your contracts, right? Remember we covered that in the previous video, how wholesaling works. So then your credit score, it it does not matter as much. Okay, um so when you make these decisions, right, you decide that this is what you want to do. You want to get into um investments, you know you want to like to work with the different, what he calls different options, or of investors, right? um you answer to your own investors, if you have any. um you are the person. You have to remember, there's nobody else is going to help you, and I know there is not much help out there for these kind of you know people really don't teach you that much. That's why I'm trying to bring this awareness to you guys, okay? Because I've been through it. I've been in real estate for a long time, and having my own deals work out also, you know, I did got burned. Okay, so I feel that this is very necessary topics, um, to bring the awareness out there to you guys. Okay, so you don't have to go through uh, the mistakes and the lessons, you know, the burn I went through. Okay, so actually it's a less risky than other kind of real estate investments, the wholesaling. Okay, but there's, again, I say you have to watch the previous video about wholesaling. Okay, so when you got a good buyer, you have to have, you remember we talked that in the previous um, lessons, that you have to, if you think that you have a good buyer, they're all lined up, you know that, you can call back, um, then it's less risky. Other steps you can take to reduce risks include putting contingencies clause into the contract. We'll talk about that. I'll cover all that for you guys if you don't know what contingency clauses are. I'll explain that to you as we go along. Okay. Um, what is contract, and how you ensure that you make sure that your deposit is not too large. Okay. um so but like I said, I'm letting you guys know through the experience. Okay. So however, i I got burned with these things, so bringing the awareness to you guys. So, however, risky can be totally avoided in any kind of investment, including wholesaling. Okay, so let's take now we talk a little bit about the benefits. How you can uh, do it faster transaction with the wholesaling, but let's also talk about the risks it it involves. Okay, so the risk, you don't get the steady income on this, number one, and you don't get the benefits. Okay. So if you're someone who prefer counting on um, an expected income every couple of weeks, you need to decide how important that is. Due to the nature of the process, you can't predict when you are going to find great property, right? You don't know. You can't predict that buyers, are lined up for you for that property. Okay. And you still have to go through all the paperwork, all the documents. Okay. So you'll also actually have to be in charge of, funding your own, like, retirement account, and make sure you have a health and other necessary insurance before you get into it. Okay. um, so you don't lose everything. So however, there are some ways to lessen the stress that can, you can come with the unsteady income, such as you can ensure, put put some of your profits or your savings uh, account that can help you cover if you hit some leaner times, right? uh, but make sure, as I said, that your basic needs are met first for you and your family, right? It's also helpful to take a good look at your financial habits to make sure your money is going to the right places, right? You've been saving into your retirement accounts, or you're not overspending, right? um, Also keep in mind that unsteady income doesn't mean that it is a less income, right? Yes, you might sometimes have to wait a little longer for because for your payday, but a great investment deal can make it well worth the wait, right? If it's, you think that yes, the property is going to close, because sometime it happens, like we talked about that too in previous videos, that sometime 90% of work is done, right? And then that's it, you're all the at the last moment of closing and deals fell through, right? And then you are based back to, you know again back to zero. So, but with wholesaling, um the truth is that sometimes deals doesn't go through, um right? it could be anything. It could, your buyers can back out, or they do not have enough finances, or they decided to wait, or their loan didn't go through, or something happened, right? Or any other life predictions happen to them. So it might not even have anything to do with you. Okay, don't blame yourself. Okay, so for example, sometime when buyer simply backs out, that they don't want to like go through with it, right? There's nothing you can do, right? By law, they can. You cannot, hold their hand and have them sign on the closings, right? So they legally can do it, right? So this can be even more stressful than the irregular income, especially for like here we are talking to investors, okay? Especially for investors who are new to wholesaling. So according to the like real estate, wholesaling, there's about only, okay, don't get discouraged, guys, okay? Just want to let you know. Sometime only 50% of the deals that goes through, okay? So this state might be seem like off-putting, right? But still, if this is what you want to do, and my job is to bring awareness to you guys. I'm just telling you pros and cons. I'm letting you, know this, that just don't, sign and, contracts just with closed eyes, and make sure you are aware of these things. Okay. So when there's a possibility of failure, you can have make sure that these lessons, these risks, these stress strategies, these things. Okay. And that's why I'm letting you guys know with the years of experience. Okay. Um, in real estate. So as we know, with everything else what's going around right now around this world, guys, it's not easy to pull everything together in life. Okay. So there are many steps in wholesaling process. It's not always easy to pull things together like everything else in life. So sometimes you just can't find the right deal, right? To have this property, um, to put things together. Sometimes it's not, there's not a, a good mentor, a good teacher is there to letting you guys know what is the next process or what is the next step. And you are, as a new investor, now you're stuck. So sometimes you just can't find the answers, or sometimes you can't find you need to be able to get into the property for lower than it's worth, or you are not going to make any money. And these properties are not always out there, guys. Okay. So as we already discussed, because there are experienced, investors, there are experienced, other realtors, right, who just, okay, as soon as it comes, it's gone. The properties are gone off the market, or so as we already discussed before, you also need to have a right buyer for your property, okay, um, the wholesale property. So even if you got a great list of, okay, suppose, potential buyer, it's possible that you don't have the right buyer, okay, who want to, participate, or particularly property you found that are willing to buy. So everyone involved in any aspect of real estate has to deal with these strategies. Okay, guys, that's the nature of the business. That's the reality of the business. Okay. Um, so let's talk about mitigating the risks. Okay. Um, as I already mentioned, a few ways in previous lessons about the risks and strategies, but let's go over them in a little bit more details now. So what you need to do, you need to have the buyers list. Make sure you create the buyer list, and also, guys, please take notes too when I'm trying to explain, or you can always go back and watch these videos over and over again, and also um, you can also share these with your loved ones who wants to get into real estate, or they are planning to buy, or they are planning to sell, or they're want to be investors. Okay, so you're most welcome to share it with them. You can forward it to them, and you can also either take a notes now, or you can go back and watch these videos. So okay, so let's talk. Okay, number one, right? Create the buyers list. Okay, and then, as I mentioned this few times, before in these lessons, that key to successful wholesaling business, right? To make sure that you have the list of their contact information, the what kind of properties they are looking for, right? Because you have to have a perfect match the property with that buyer, right? So you cannot match with somebody who's looking to single story, or you cannot match them with the business deal, right? So you make sure that that this is what they are looking for, and it's a win-win deal for both of you guys. Okay, because again, I'm saying that, guys, in this business, in order to be successful in this business, or anything, I would say, in life, right? Your integrity, your morals, that plays number one in your life. Okay, your integrity, let me say that again, your integrity and your morals play number one role in your life. Okay, so, and it's a long term you know relationship with your investors, with your buyers, with your, it's a long term, and that only will stay long term if you are truthful, right? If you are, you know, your morals and your values are also checked in. Okay. So sometimes, uh, okay, yeah, we was talking earlier. I forgot what I was talking. Sometimes these keys are important in a successful business. Again, you need to, make sure that you know what your buyers are looking for, what kind of properties they are interested in, and so you can match the, the properties with that kind of buyer. And don't forget to keep in, touch and keep their preferences, because our preferences in life, it change, right? People get married, or people get retired, people get, have children, or people have one child, children, or um, now all of a sudden, there's two families maybe merging, right? um, Together, so they might need a bigger house. So make sure that you're not selling them um, something that does not fit, you know what they need, right? Because they're not gonna buy it. So okay, um, so now we cover all that. So let's talk about the plan. Sometimes you just can't find the right buyers, right, for the property you have, um, or the property you're trying to wholesale. No matter how thorough your list, or how far and wide your research is. So one way to protect yourself is by including, the clause into the contract. For example, subject to agreement by my partner, right? Um, when you are buying this, property from the seller. So that said, backing out should always be your last resort, right? Because seller, make sure, because as I said, morals and integrity, you let them know also. Okay, and make they also took themselves out. So they took out from, you know the house from the market, right? Because they went in contract with you. And make sure you are not just using them, right, till you find. And then you make sure you explain it to them that this is the situation. And that way, if they have other options, people who are looking to buy, they can give it. So you're not just using people for your own good. Okay. So, but that should be, backing out should be your last resort if you cannot match the buyer with the property. Okay, and make sure you have that in the contract, and make sure the subject to agreement, that's what we're talking about. And I'll explain all that to you guys later. Okay, right now we're just covering the wholesaling. Okay, I will explain all that to you guys later. But the subject to agreement by my partner, which is, the buyer, right? The buyer you're gonna find. But make sure that when you put that clause in the contract, make sure your seller also knows about that. Okay, you talk to them about that. So you're not wasting their, time, their months, or, or years, could be, right? So that's, again, it's the moral, it's morality. Okay. Um, so backing out, as I said, it should be your last resort if you can't find it. So one option to avoid using an escape clause is by changing the deal with the buyer also. Okay, consider you can lowering your wholesale fees or um, your end selling point, right? Which might land your buyer after all. So you might make less money or sometimes even none, right? Or all you're doing is now, since you already got into contract, um, and now you are just stuck, the clause section is already, time is over in that time frame. Now you just are stuck with the property and you need to just, sell it. So you might, sometime you might even end up not making even any penny or any money on that deal, guys. Okay, but at least you'll have, honored your deal. Again, I'm gonna say that the moral, your ethics are very important, guys, in life. Because if your morals, or you are not with your morals or with your ethics, you're hurting someone else who don't know. You're taking a, don't take advantage of someone's naiveness, okay, for your own good. No, that's no, no, no. Okay, but same as with the seller, right? With the seller, you already explained it to them everything. If you're putting a clause in it, and if you don't have a clause, you honored your deal and you bought it from your seller. Okay, so, and then now you have the property, you have to just buyer, you know match it with the buyer. And sometime, as I said, you might have to, you know lower your fees. Sometime you don't even make no money into it, you just selling that property, because it's in your hand, and you move on. So you have to make sure you keep in contact with your seller, um, because, again, guys, we all are beginners and naives in the beginning as a child. When you haven't done that before in anything we are talking about in your life, right? And that's the reason I'm teaching you guys with my experience. So listen, okay? Listen, I'm trying to help you guys from getting burned, okay? Many sellers, they don't know what is wholesaling, right? Before, I already covered that. Make sure your sellers know about this. They don't know what is wholesaling. Like some of you guys don't know what is wholesaling, and that's why I'm trying to explain all that to you guys. They don't know what is, wholesaling is, you know, selling their houses, homes below the market value. Okay, because they don't know. It's for them. It's a first time experience for them. Okay, like everything else in life. So don't just use other people for your own good. Be truthful, be your morals, your integrity. It plays a huge role in life, where we are in life, guys. Okay. Um, so they know, the sellers sometimes don't know that they are selling the house below the market. Okay. They might, okay, they might have other options, guys, right? That they can sell it at the full market value you know, to someone else. And here they are they put their 100% trust in you, 100% trust in you that you are the one who's gonna buy this property. Okay. So they took out their house from the market and went into contract with you. And they put all their 100% trust in you. Okay. So that's why, guys, I'm emphasizing on this point. It's very, very important to present when you're presenting your offer to your seller or to your buyer, you present it with full truthfulness, respectful, in a compelling way. Okay. You need to be able to clear and explain truthfully everything, the process and how it would help them. And this is the guidelines, so they know, guys. Okay. Because sometimes we all know in life it takes years sometime, you know, to get that you'll be able to trust someone else if they felt that, you the trust they put you. It only take one person, right? With everything in life, it only take one person, and then sometimes you see everyone with those kind of mentality, with those kind of eyes, those, it only take one person who come to your life, um and then here you go, you got burned for life. So that's why I'm making letting you guys know about this awareness. And please, 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 you can also share with your loved ones, you know who are going through this, or who can take um, lessons from my videos that I am, these tutorials I'm teaching you guys. So that's why I'm saying that it's very important to present your offer in a respectful, compelling way. You make sure you clarify and you explain the process, that this is how it's gonna be. When I work with my buyers or sellers or investors, guys, I explain them everything. Sometimes, doesn't matter if I get paid or not. Okay. But that is, I think I feel that, you know, that's my value, my moral value to to teach and to guide whoever comes in my contact. Okay. So you make sure you clear and explain all the process and how, you know the whole process is going to work. So sometime, for example, maybe they've been, hit with life, or with we all know what is going on around this world right now. They may be hit with high medical bills, or they need money. okay, that to the, that they are that's why they are selling that house, guys. Okay, so don't take advantage of it, please. Put yourself in their shoes, what they are going through. Put yourself in their shoes. Okay, so sometimes they may lost the job. Okay, and they are only the sole breadwinner now, or their partner maybe passed away. Okay, and now they don't have no other choice to make a living for themselves or their family or for their children, and they need to sell the house. Okay, so or they are planning to get, they if they still have the mortgage on the property, okay, then maybe that might be the highest bill in their life, monthly bill, because they have to pay mortgage every month. So they cannot afford, they might be looking into downsizing, and mortgage monthly payments might be too expensive for them at this time because of what they are going through the life at this time. So your offer, guys, can help them out of their tough situation quickly. Okay, so again, I'm saying, put yourself in their shoes. Try imagining yourself in that position, in their position. Okay, how would they feel? Think about that too. How would you feel if somebody come and do that to you? Yeah, you won't like it, right? No, you won't. So again, try imagining yourself in their position. Think about how you would be feeling. How if someone do to you or to your family member. Okay, how would you want to be? Is that how you would want to be treated? Is that how you would want to your family member to be treated? Right? So what think about what questions you would have. So anticipating these kind of things and making sure you can explain everything in any easy to understand manner, that can go a long way, guys, towards getting you the deal, the right deal, the right property. Okay, so morals and ethics and truthfulness is so important. Okay, lies in life, they don't take you anywhere in life. Don't. Okay, so your reputation, guys, is so important, that anything you misstate will likely to come a long way and somewhere. So when that happens, seller, they won't be selling to you, or investors certainly won't want to give you their money, right? Lenders don't want to work with you, buyer don't want to work with you. Okay, or they don't want to buy your properties. Okay, so being upfront about why you are doing what you are doing, the process, make sure that that other party you are involved with, okay, we're talking about seller at this time, but when they buy also, we're talk, same Same rules applied for the buyers also, who's buying a property from you. Okay. Being upfront, truthful to them so you don't waste, you know, their years, their time, their life, because sometimes the loss is, you know, take years to get back that trust. Okay. So make sure they know that this is a process, make sure know what kind of risks are involved in it. And then people like on both side of, you know, your sellers, your buyers, you know, both sides of transactions need to be feel comfortable, and they know that they can trust you. So, okay. So furthermore, keep in mind that sometimes seller go with emotions. Okay. It's their house, guys. They they are, their emotions are, everyone, we all know that. As I said, put yourself in the shoes. Okay. They can also decide who they want they would, you know, like to sell. Okay. So honesty, your morals, your authenticity, your clear communications, okay, from beginning to end are everything, guys. And that plays with, I'm not just here we're talking about the properties, okay, but in basic rule of life. Don't do it to others if you don't want to have it done it to you, right? So when it comes to building and maintaining, you know, um, your business invest in investing, or in any business, in real estate business you're looking into, um, you know, these factors play a major role in every relationship of life, not just our real estate, but every single relationship of life. Okay. All right, guys. Hope this helped. um I'm just trying to bring awareness to you guys, so listen, 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 guys, listen. I'm just trying to help you guys. Okay. um so you don't have to go through all the lessons what I learned in my life, and I'm just giving it to you guys. Okay. uh all right, well, that's enough said. So I will see you guys soon. Again, this is RubyKaurSingh, uh with Real Estate New School, and I will talk to you soon. Till then, take care, my friends. Goodbye.